accredited. We issued tickets on 280 airlines, representatives for Condor, the German airlines, and main agents for Virgin, KLM and Air France were specialists to the Middle East. Walk in to our ticket office at Morris Bishop Highway, call 439-4444, WhatsApp 534-7755 or visit caribjet.com.
The Rotary Clubs in Grenada introduce the Good Neighbor Initiative, a program designed to assist individuals and families who require short-term assistance with electricity bill payment and the cost associated with rewiring of homes due to fires and natural disasters. Applicants will be able to receive bill payments of a maximum of $250 per household for 3 months. This initiative will benefit the elderly, families with children preparing for exit exams, and families with members who are temporarily unemployed or have reduced working hours as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. If you or someone you know is in need of help, please visit our website at www.goodneighborinitiative.org and connect with a recommender today. The Good Neighbor Initiative, helping individuals and families with short-term electricity bill payments and electrical wiring, one neighbor at a time.
How did you get your electricity bill to be so low?
For one, we size our transformers just for what we need, and we unplug transformers, chargers and other devices when they're not in use. We also replaced our light bulbs with LED. I even replaced the seal on my refrigerator door to keep the cold air in.
How do you know if it is working?
We pay attention to the usage history table. Over time, our average usage has decreased.
Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
Your vehicle insurance should never break your bank. With Beacon, you can get up to 35% off your fully comprehensive car insurance and still get full protection from unexpected damages with free loss of use, windscreen cover, and special perils. When it comes to your insurance, always be sure you settle for more. Call us at 440-4447 or log on to beacon.co.tt and get a quote today.
Hello and welcome to the MTV Evening News for Tuesday, 26th April 2022. Coming up tonight, the family of the deceased young man from Sunday night's boating accident with the Grenada Coast Guard speaks out. 2 Happy Hill, St. George teenagers charged with robbery with violence remanded to Her Majesty's Prison. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell to address the nation this evening before a live audience. And in sports, Grenada's under-17 women's team scored its first championship goal. We have the details of these and more after the break.
Angie, don't you know that you should not fly kites near electrical poles and wires? You should only fly it in open areas. If the kite gets stuck, it can cause power outages throughout the village.
Then I'll just pull it down, Johnny. Simple.
No, you shouldn't do that. You can get shocked. You should call Grenlec at 237 and they will come and help.
Alright.
Never fly kites near the power lines. If your kite ever gets tangled, do not attempt to remove it on your own. A message from Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
The first segment of MTV News is brought to you in association with GUT Cooperative Credit Union. It's where you belong.
Make a greater contribution to your credit union by volunteering to serve on one of the following: Board of Directors, Supervisory and Compliance Committee, and Credit Committee. Members wishing to be considered must be active members of the credit union be of good standing, and possess a reasonable understanding of the credit union's philosophy and operating principles. Application forms can be downloaded at gutcu.com/nomination or collected at any GUT-CCU branch. Send your application via email to nominations in care of GUT Cooperative Credit Union, Grenville and St. John Streets, St. George's. Or email your nominations to gutcu@spiceisle.com. The subject should be Nominations 2022. The deadline for applications is Friday, April 29th, 2022.
Good evening. With the news in detail, I am Troy Gill. The family of 22-year-old Kimon Bell, who died in Sunday night's boating accident involving the Grenada Coast Guard, has spoken out on the Royal Grenada Police Force handling of the tragic incident. Attorney for the family, Anselm Clouden, is appealing to the RGPF to meet with the families of the deceased and the other injured occupant of the boat they were on when the incident occurred.
The Coast Guard got lights that could brighten up the whole Sea of Grenada. Why are they claiming it's an accident?
That was Carlson George, father of deceased Kimon Bell, one of the victims of Sunday's boating accident, speaking to MTV News. Bell's body was recovered from the waters in the Grand Anse area by divers attached to the Grenada Coast Guard and taken to the Coast Guard headquarters in True Blue on Monday, where his body was identified by his family. His father says he does not believe it was an accident that claimed the life of his son, and he is calling for justice.
Because after the boat hit, and the guy claimed that look at Kimon Bell in the water, why the police and the Coast Guard didn't jump overboard and get my son? Why? They'll wait until the next morning before they could recover my son? I need justice, and I need it fast.
The other occupant on the vessel was 24-year-old Vondi Joseph, who escaped with minor injuries.
Now, me and Kimon Bell went on the island, Hog Island, about Sunday around after 4. So we left the island and coming on we way to coming home. We end up breaking down. So the same time I tell them all, let me call and get rescue. Come on, tell me now, I know the problem, I'm going to fix the problem for you. Don't worry, we will get through. At same time now, come on, end up fixing the problem in the engine now. And then we start to run up on the airport. Running going up to Granans Beach.
Joseph says he signaled his phone light to get the Coast Guard's attention. However, the vessel continued to approach.
The men just end up running into us and just kill Bell. When I raise up my head from in the water, I see Bell floating. I said to tell them, man, they kill my brother boy, And that man only studied to make calls to call some Sarge. I turn around and tell the man, boy, bleeding out in the water, boy, come and take me into the water. The man only had me in the water, they floating on the boat, holding on.
The family's attorney, Anselm Clouden, is calling for a full investigation and is appealing to members of the RGPF to meet with the families of both victims.
The death of Kimon Bell. To date, no one from the police, the Coast Guard, the government have sympathized with the family of Mr. Bell, father and mother. We are not that type of people. That's not who we are.
On Monday, police confirmed that the boating incident occurred sometime after 7 p.m. on Sunday, while officers attached to the Grenada Coast Guard were returning to base from an operation when it collided with a small vessel at Grand Anse, St. George. In a release, the Commissioner of Police and his team extended condolences to the family and parents of the deceased and assured all that a thorough investigation has been launched to determine what led to the tragic incident. Joseph McKee-Smith, MTV News.
2 teenagers from Happy Hill, St. George were today brought before the St. George's Magistrates Court to answer to the charge of robbery with violence. On Friday, 22nd April, the young men robbed a bakery in Happy Hill, including a cell phone. Both teenagers who have outstanding matters before the court were remanded to the Richmond Hill prison. Nikita Hosten has more.
Represented by attorney Jerry Edwin, brothers 19-year-old Ivan and 18-year-old Neil Hyacinth were remanded to Her Majesty's prison after appearing before Magistrate Teddy St. Louis on Tuesday. They will make their second court appearance on Friday, May 13th.
Unfortunately, two young men from Happy Hill, Beauséjour, just footsteps from where I reside, found themselves again on the wrong side of the law. The allegation is that they were involved in the robbery of a grocery store in the community.
According to their attorney, the young men are accused of robbery with violence. They allegedly stole over $8,000 of goods and a cell phone from the Happy Time Bakery in Happy Hill in St. George around 8 p.m. last Friday.
We are thankful that there were no injuries involved in the robbery. There was a cell phone that was stolen and some goods that it is alleged was stolen in the amount of $8,000. I don't know, perhaps the young men don't realize that this is Grenada, and in the community where they live, persons would recognize them from their haircut, their voices. I think they're looking at too much American television.
Edwin says both brothers have matters pending in the magistrate's court. He also expressed concern over the recent spate of robberies in the country.
The magistrate have sent them to the Richmond Hill prison so that they will have some time to reflect on their conduct, and they will be returning in early May. Yes, there are pending matters in the magistrate's court involving these two young men. They have gone off the rails, and we'll put them back on the straight and narrow. The two young men are not employed, and that sometimes is the case with, as they say, idle hands being the devil's handiwork. Just yesterday in Victoria, the magistrate there had to confront a similar case, an 18 and a 19-year-old being involved in the robbery of a grocery store and a gas station in Victoria. Today, the court has to deal with the issue of an 18 and a 19-year-old being involved in a grocery store robbery. Again, sounds familiar? Well, it's too familiar.
Nikita Hosten, MTV News.
Since the onslaught of the COVID-19 pandemic, students are returning to school for the first time since the complete lifting of the COVID-19 restrictions, and are now in full preparation mode in anticipation of completing their exit and promotion exams. As hundreds of students return to school for the new Trinity school term, they are no longer required to wear masks or observe a physical distancing since the complete lifting of the COVID-19 protocols on April 4th. However, chair of the Grenada Principals Association and principal of the Presentation Brothers College, Dominic Jeremiah, speaking to MTV News on Tuesday, said COVID-19 is still at large and students must continue to protect themselves.
For the last 3 years, we have had to deal with restrictions, the COVID-19 spiking and the regulations and all of that. And so the students are returning now, and while the regulations have been lifted, we are also conscious about the presence of COVID-19 still among us. So we encourage our students to exercise due diligence in the way in which they manage themselves to avert contracting COVID-19. Is still around.
Nevertheless, despite the fluidity of the pandemic, students will now have to focus on preparation for exams this new school term, Jeremiah said.
This is an important term because this is the Trinity term. It's a term where students are going to be not only writing CXC exams, but students are also going to be doing the internal exams, the cumulative internal exam. And therefore it is important that, they settle quickly and they focus on these important responsibilities that are coming up. Certainly the CXC students.
Some schools have already begun preparatory work according to schedule, including preliminary examinations. However, exams will begin in earnest next month.
For some students in some schools, they have already, had their final assembly and so on and gone home. Some schools are probably endeavoring to do that this week. We still want to encourage them to stay focused on their preparation, because the CXC exam itself is scheduled to start, has already started with all the language, orals, and some of the practicals in some subject areas. Some of that is going on as we speak. Some students have already completed that, but the exam will start in earnest come next week Monday.
Despite reports that some countries in the region, including Barbados and Jamaica, are calling on CXC to push back the CSEC and CAPE exams under the guise that students are not prepared, he does not anticipate that Grenada will be affected and will sit exams according to schedule. One gentleman from Switzerland will soon be embarking on a project which aims to have students collect plastic waste from coastal areas and turn it into cubes that will soon be on display internationally as part of an environmental awareness campaign. Environmental activist, artist, painter, and founder of G-Cubes, Harold Reichenbach from Switzerland, has returned to Grenada and is embarking on a project that involves the collection of plastic waste and forming it into cubes, which will be on display near the United Nations headquarters as part of an environmental awareness campaign. He invited our news team onto his yacht at Clarkscourt Bay on Tuesday, and according to him, the inspiration of G-Cubes was birthed when he encountered plastic waste on his travels.
I decided to do as well art which has to do with the society. I have two kids, and when I was invited to go sailing the first time, I liked that very much, but then I've seen all that plastic garbage around that was very frustrating. So I said, I'm responsible. My generation is responsible for that disaster we did. So I want to do for the next generation a monument for the situation of plastic garbage.
He also shared the intended goal that will complete the monument.
So the goal is to take 1,000 of these G-cubes, G means garbage, and to make one of 1,000 of these, one big one of 1 meter, 1 meter on 1 meter, 1 cubic meter of compressed and conserved garbage to make shows with it. That was the beginning. But it came very different at the end, the project, yeah.
He first visited Grenada in 2020 and brought the idea to the Grenada Solid Waste Management Authority. However, he was forced to return due to the pandemic. Nevertheless, he has returned and will be partnering with the authority to involve schools as part of the project.
And I had contact with Mirna from Grenada Waste Management, yeah, and I went to present the project then to Grenada Waste Management, and that's how it started all. Then I went back to Switzerland for nearly 2 years because it wasn't possible to sail back to Europe. And I came back now 2 weeks ago, and I called Mirna already from Switzerland to tell her that I'm back, and she organized this, all this. She's organizing 2 schools where I'm going to work in the next weeks.
MTV News reached out to Senior Communications Officer at the Grenada Solid Waste Management Authority, Myrna Julian, who confirmed that they are partnering to facilitate the project with 2 schools along the coast, which is expected to commence in the next 2 weeks. The lack of ice machines and cold storage facilities is still a big challenge for fisherfolk, particularly those who do go out on trawlers and other small vessels, bringing in a hefty catch. The fisherfolk have been complaining for years, and according to them, they are losing money, time and fish. The minister with responsibility for fisheries met with a group of fishermen in Guave, where she told them the authorities were aware of the situation and will be rectifying it soon. More in this report from Donald Hostin.
Fisherfolk around the island have been complaining for years about the lack of facilities to store their fish. They say ice machines are one of the biggest challenges they face, and this causes their catch to spoil. Our news desk spoke to one fisherman from St. Mark who was visibly distraught about the amount of fish he lost due to the lack of a cold storage facility.
I hold 12 fish since last week, like a bit like the month start. This week going on 3 weeks now, almost a month. They have me fishing Grand Mall. Go for me fish yesterday, fish stink, 10 fish stink. I can't even sell it, I can't get nobody. They have it down there and the ice, the days you spend in the ice, is too much of the ice. You need like a cold room, somebody to get it hard.
He says it is hard for him, particularly as he recently secured a loan to get his small boat.
I have 3 children. I have to get a little loan for a little boat, 30-something. How we go pay the loan? How we go pay the loan? How we go eat? How we go pay the bill? We can't go to the bank and tell the bank we don't have money. We can't go to Grand Neck and tell Grand Neck without money to pay the bill. They don't want to hear that. It really hurting me because I'm a family to take care of.
Listening to the plight of the fisherfolk at a meeting on Friday morning, Minister for Fisheries Yolande Bain Hosford said she understands what they are going through. She promised them they will soon be getting proper ice machines and other amenities.
All the fish markets will be upgraded. We have started the process already. An assessment was done by the Ministry of Works last year, and we have been given the documentation. I think the process has started here. The fish market in St. George's will be upgraded, and all the other fish markets will be upgraded, including Sauters and Victoria and Grenville. Early June, and every fish market will have an ice machine. Okay?
Reporting for MTV News, I am Donella Hostin.
Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell will deliver an address to the nation at 8 p.m. tonight before a live audience at the Grenada Trade Center. Prime Minister Mitchell is expected to focus largely on the pension issue, as government has been engaged in several strategic consultations since the High Court ruling earlier this month. The Prime Minister's address will be broadcast live on GIS and GIS Facebook page and YouTube channel. The address will also be broadcast by other radio and television stations and streamed on various social media platforms. That's the first segment of news. Still to come, stakeholders participate in the final consultation of Grenada's marijuana consultation. Stay with us.
The first segment of MTV News was brought to you in association with GUT Cooperative Credit Union. It's where you belong.
Make a greater contribution to your credit union by volunteering to serve on one of the following: Board of Directors, Supervisory and Compliance Committee, and Credit Committee. Members wishing to be considered must be active members of the credit union, be of good standing, and possess a reasonable understanding of the credit union's philosophy and operating principles. Application forms can be downloaded at gutcu.com/nomination or collected at any GUT-CCU branch. Send your application via email to nominations in care of GUT Cooperative Credit Union, Grenville and St. John Streets, St. George's. Or email your nominations to gutcu@spiceisle.com. The subject should be Nominations 2022. The deadline for applications is Friday, April 29th, 2022.
loved one passes on, we all need the comfort, support, and guidance of a trusted friend. You can rely on LaCroix Brothers Funeral Home. We provide a personalized professional service that exceeds all expectations. Our dedicated staff responds to your every need with the greatest detail, ensuring affordability with a variety of options. Our upgraded state-of-the-art facilities, spacious air-conditioned chapel with live internet streaming, a modern, environmentally safe crematorium, the only of its kind on island, private viewing spaces, large on-site repast center, a modern transportation fleet. Join our burial society today and make personalized arrangements for that final moment as you prepare to enter your loved one into eternal rest. Visit or call LaCroix Brothers Funeral Home and select a package that brings added comfort to the entire family. LaCroix Brothers Funeral Home and Burial Society, continuing a tradition of excellence.
A message by the Grenada Distillers Limited.
You want a hand sanitizer to do 3 things: kill germs, be gentle, and to go where you go. You can get all of that in our hand sanitizer. Hard on germs, gentle on hands, affordable. Remember, hand sanitizers contain alcohol. Keep away from heat and flames and avoid contact with eyes. Available at retailers island-wide.
A message by the Grenada Distillers Limited.
Grenada football action is back on Saturday, 30th April. Get ready for the 4th edition of the Pure Grenada Cup at the Kireni James National Stadium with 2 opening games. From 6 p.m., St. Mark Western Stars versus St. Patrick Crown City Strikers. Then from 8 p.m., defending champions St. Andrew Big Parish Stars versus St. George Royal Cannons. Admission $20. Then just 1 game from 6 p.m. U17 Young Gunners versus St. John Dolphins. Admission $10. The 4th edition of the Pure Grenada Cup is on. Don't miss it.
The second segment of MTV News is brought to you in association with the Communal Cooperative Credit Union. To grow with us, save with us.
We support you at every stage of your life.
For business,
for your education,
for your financial freedom,
for that new ride.
Upgrade your life with the Communal. Contact us today.
Welcome back. Grenada's marijuana consultation process is well on its way, as the final consultation was held last Friday with the police and the Minister for Agriculture, Peter David. Representative from the Rastafarian Organization for Centralization, Michael Batiste, in a brief interview with our news desk, spoke about a statement the minister made about one man wanting 100 trees instead of the proposed 5 trees. He said he believes his statement was taken out of context and sought to clarify what he meant.
And I didn't make that statement on a one-man-ism issue. This statement was made generally on behalf of the ROC. The government will have to retract what they're doing about 1 ounce or 28 grams and 5 trees. So we did make that statement, and we had that previously, not directly, was just made while in the meeting. The statement was of the 100 trees is to start the cannabis industry in Grenada so we can supply our needs instead of letting our 3 million monthly goes to St. Vincent.
He explained that he was merely speaking about a way by which they can jumpstart the marijuana industry in Grenada. Minister David explained that during the consultation process, different people shared different views and opinions on what the legislation should allow.
The gentleman misunderstood or maybe just misguided on it. What I said is that there were varying opinions on the legislation. The legislation said 5 trees. Some people said they want 100 trees. Some people said they don't want it to allow any cultivation. Some people said it was too much, an ounce is too much. Some people said it's not enough. It was merely an indication of varying opinions that are held on the issue.
As it stands now, a date has not been officially set for the passing of the bill to decriminalize marijuana, but Minister David assures that wheels are steadily in motion. Dance students interested in showcasing Grenada's culture and heritage in the art of dance participated in a 3-day workshop that focused on future themes which incorporate elements of Black history and culture. Founder and artistic director of Dance Grenada, Shola K. Roberts, hosted a 3-day workshop for dance students at the Grenada Youth Center, which ended on Friday. The workshop focused primarily on the showcasing of a documentary dubbed Afro-Futurism and Our Heart. Roberts, who is based in New York, says the workshop was also an opportunity to launch the Dance Grenada Festival 2022, which was officially launched in 2020.
This past Tuesday to Thursday, April 19th to the 21st, we had our Dance Grenada launch, which consisted of a 3-day workshop and the premiere of our 2021 documentary entitled Afrofuturism and Our Heart. And this launch is to get Grenada ready for the actual festival that will be taking place October 21st to the 24th of 2022.
In 2020, the festival was hosted virtually due to the pandemic. However, this year she's anticipating that the festival will be in person.
So for the past 2 years, we have been functioning in a virtual space. Dance Grenada will be bringing its talents, its power, its artistry to Grenada for the first time in person. Dance Grenada Incorporated serves as an organization that provides a network for dance artists, international dance artists, local dance artists to share and preserve dance practices. And so the festival consists of dance workshops, panel discussion, performances, and just the overall engagement and socialization of cultural practitioners.
They have hosted a vast majority of students of all ages, and this year will be no different, Roberts said.
Over the years, we have serviced 100+ students, ranging from ages 8 to 57. And so just showing the diverse demographic of our participants, educators, dance lovers, dance practitioners, up-and-coming training artists. It's a place for us all to just share our passion and the seriousness and the sincerity of why we need to do what we need to do.
She also partnered with local dance instructor and artistic director at Conception Dance Theatre, Cecilia Griffith. Chief Executive Officer of the Grenada Tourism Authority, Petra Roach, was invited to speak at Skift Travel Loyalty Summit last week. There she highlighted the GTA's loyalty program for the diaspora, dubbed 473 Connect. According to Roach, this program came into play after the pandemic, and they realized they needed to be more creative with limited resources. Here's more in this report.
Grenada now stands among 3 other destinations around the world offering a loyalty program for travelers and visitors post-pandemic, and was recently featured during the Skift Travel Loyalty Summit 2022. Hotels, airlines, and other destinations are now embracing loyalty and reward programs for travelers. These programs give clients the flexibility when choosing rewards after being disadvantaged for the past 2 years due to the pandemic and the restrictions that followed. Chief Executive Officer at the Grenada Tourism Authority, Petra Roach, represented Grenada and shared with the Skift team about Grenada's loyalty program dubbed 473 Connect and how it came about.
So coming out of the pandemic, which, as you can imagine, had devastating impact on us as a people and as a nation, we needed to get restarted really quickly, but with limited resources, we had to think, how do we pivot? Because I think it's fair to say that the pandemic really taught us that we've got to become a lot more nimble, that we've got to think outside our comfort zone, and we really have to be creative. And
she further stated the importance of the diaspora's role as this recently launched program targets them specifically.
Why the diaspora? Because the diaspora really are the unsung heroes who promote our island tirelessly and organically. And you know, traditionally, there's been no expectation of anything in return. And if you think about it, we've got 112,000 people on the ground locally, but in the diaspora, we've got 360,000.
Roach explained how this loyalty program works.
So we thought, why not actually create a tangible program that the diaspora could get their feet into, you know, that they could get invested in, where they literally become our extended sales force, and we can celebrate them at the same time and provide a form of reward. So we've got a program which they sign up to. They actually go through a 12-module training program. We do things like promotional evenings. We've got fam trips, which they also come down to attend. When they actually get their program, they then get a discount card. So that means that the next time they're in Grenada, they actually have access to discounts.
GTA and Grenada, by extension, were highly commended for their new loyalty program, as it drives specific customer behavior and helps visitors to build new connections. Reporting for MTV News, I am Donella Hosted.
The curtains came down on Friday night at Sanders Grenada Resort as their reunion week concluded with a bang. Samantha Bartholomew, loyalty and travel manager at Sanders Grenada, spoke to our news desk about the past week's activities. She noted that this event is one of the most highly anticipated events for both the guests and staff. Here's Donella Hosted with this report.
It was a week of exciting and fun-filled activities for repeat guests and pearl guests who have spent over 350 nights with Sandals Resorts. Reunion Week, which came to a close on Friday night with a toga party, gave the guests the opportunity to experience a wide variety of activities. Samantha Bartholomew, loyalty and travel manager at Sandals Grenada, said this is a much anticipated annual event at the resort. She shared some of the activities, which according to her were very well received by the guests.
The Reunion Week celebration is something that we look forward to every year. It typically happens around the Easter, right after the Easter holiday, and it lasts for an entire week, where there are different activities. We do tours, we do on property activities. There's a lot of celebrations and giveaways. Then we moved on to a local beach, another beach like the BBC Beach, where we had a picnic in the Wildwoods Park. Thursday we recognized the Sandals Foundation, and Earth Day, where we took the guests to the Tower Estate, where they had a fantastic lunch. And then we ended the week with a beach regatta, where we had like kayak racing, cricket, and we moved on again. As you see now, we have the toga party taking place.
The guests were treated to a special gala dinner, which highlighted Grenada's local cuisine.
We also celebrate all of the guests, where we have a special gala dinner. This year we actually celebrated the 40th anniversary. That entire theme was represented as a Grenadian theme also. So for example, the dinner we had was more of a street festival, where we had a variety of foods to choose from, local foods actually to choose from, the fried fish and the chicken and the curry, and the variety of foods that we usually eat locally. We even had a couple pots of oil down on the beach for the guests that evening.
There were also giveaways from Sandals.
We also even give away a free week with the Sandals on the Beaches brand, where you get 7 days, 6 free nights with Sandals or Beaches if you do decide to come that week as a Sandals Select guest.
Bartholomew stated that the experience their guests have and the business they bring to the resort is very much appreciated by all. Reporting for MTV News, I am Donella Hosted.
That's the second segment of news. Regional highlights are up next.
The second segment of MTV News was brought to you in association with the Communal Cooperative Credit Union. To grow with us, save with us.
We support you at every stage of your life.
For business.
For your education.
For your financial freedom.
For that new ride.
Upgrade your life with the Communal. Contact us today.
The 5th Annual Masters of Calypso Melody and Rhythm Edition, Sunday, May 8th, Mother's Day, at the Spice Basket Bolio St. George's. Showtime, 6 p.m. and tickets cost $60. Featuring live from Trinidad and Tobago, Baron. Chigalos.
This party time. I'm feeling to wine.
From Barbados, Red Plastic Bag. From Grenada, Beast, Scholar, Inspector, Black Wizard, Cox, Samantha Dixon, Squeezy, and Moyakai. A special award ceremony for the Hitman Inspector.
Let me tell you that, Inspector, eating better. Make yourself at home, young fella. Eating better.
All artists backed by the Royal Grenada Police Force Band. A special cocktail on entry for all mothers. Compliments West Hall Rum. Tickets available at Mitchell's Health and Wellness Grand Anse, Grenada Optical St. George's, Kittens Pharmacy in St. George's and Grand Anse, St. David's Pharmacy, Licks and Bites Guave, Maxie's Bar Grenville. Masters of Calypso, powered by West Hall Rum's National Lotteries Authority, Flo, Senator Nolan Cox, Captain Harris Suites, Mitchell's Health and Wellness, ML Construction Services, King Elvis Taxi and Tours. One special evening dedicated to mothers. Sunday, May 8th, 6 p.m. This will be one unforgettable show.
She wants style. She wants plumbing.
Glam out in the best names and designer frames with Quartz Optical. Buy one stylish frame and get 50% off your second pair. Sport your favorite Armani, Converse, Vogue, and many more frames for less. Get an additional 10% off and pay nothing for 30 days when you pay with Ready Finance. Book your free eye examination appointment online today on www.quartzoptical.com. Don't miss the opportunity to glam out, only at Quartz Optical. Value you can see. Offer available while stocks last. Special conditions apply.
A message by the Grenada Distillers Limited.
You want a hand sanitizer to do three things: kill germs, be gentle, and to go where you go. You can get all of that in our hand sanitizer. Hard on germs, gentle on hands, affordable. Remember, hand sanitizers contain alcohol. Keep away from heat and flames and avoid contact with eyes. Available at retailers island-wide.
A message by the Grenada Distillers Limited.
Grenada football action is back on Saturday, 30th April. Get ready for the 4th edition of the Pure Grenada Cup at the Kirani James National Stadium with two opening games from 6 p.m. St. Mark Western Stars versus St. Patrick Crown City Strikers. Then from 8 p.m. defending champions St. Andrew Big Parish Stars versus St. George Royal Cannons. Admission $20. Then just one game from 6 p.m. U17 Young Gunners versus St. John Dolphins. Admission $10. The 4th edition of the Pure Grenada Cup is on. Don't miss it.
The third segment of MTV News is brought to you in association with Arizo Credit Union. Your financial freedom, your future.
My name is Dominic Lawrence. I'm a police officer by profession, and I've been a member of Arizo now for about 20 years or less. I chose to join Arizo because I've been hearing some good stuff about them. And my sister was a member before me. She told me about her good experience that she had with Arizo. What I like most about Ariza is the way they treat you as a member. They take good care of you. They help you in very, very good ways. They have some good products in place to help you. I've been able to budget a lot better because of the products and things that they have in place to help us as members. I love it when you call Ariza and the way they would answer the phone. Ariza, how can we make you smile? I would like to take this time now to congratulate Ariza on the 75 years of service to the people of Grenada.
This is where we join Josanne Mackey-Smith for news from across the region.
Good evening. Prime Minister Gaston Brown has told the Earl and Countess of Wessex during their Caribbean tour that Antigua and Barbuda should one day become a republic. Prime Minister Brown said during a meeting with the royal couple who are touring the region to mark the Platinum Jubilee, it was the country's wish to remove the Queen as head of state. However, Mr. Brown acknowledged such a move is not on the cards currently. The Earl and Countess met Mr. Brown and his cabinet at a meeting on Monday during the third leg of their Caribbean tour. The Prime Minister called on the Earl and Countess to use their diplomatic influence to help the country receive reparatory justice. The meeting comes after the royal couple was met by protest during their visit to St. Vincent and the Grenadines on Saturday, where banners were held aloft saying "Compensation now" and "Britain, your debt is outstanding." Prime Minister of Dominica Roosevelt Skerritt is currently on an official 2-day visit to Cuba, where he will receive the Order of Jose Marti, named after the Cuban national hero who became the symbol of Cuba's struggle for independence. He is also expected to hold talks with President Miguel Mario Diaz-Canel. Mr. Skerritt said, quote, "Our friendship with Cuba is not based on what we receive from Cuba. This is not how we conduct our foreign policy. It is a mutually beneficial relationship. We respect the sovereignty of Cuba, we respect their right to self-determination, and we will always continue as a matter of principle to call on the United States to remove the economic blockade on Cuba." End of quote. In more news, 4 members of a Jamaican family were stabbed to death in South London, the United Kingdom, on Monday. According to a report, one of the deceased has been identified as 64-year-old Dolette Hill, a former National Health Service worker. The other victims were Hill's partner, 58, her daughter, 45, and her granddaughter, who was 27. A 28-year-old man who was arrested at the house remains in hospital. The Met Police said the man was in a stable condition and under arrest on suspicion of murder. Speaking to reporters, Miss Hill's niece, Benicia Reed, said her aunt didn't deserve this.
She's very loving, very kind, very generous. She'd do anything for you. Yeah, she worked very hard in this country to support our 2 girls and our 2 grandkids. Yeah, so she does not deserve this.
And at least 28 children have tested positive for COVID-19 since the reopening of school in Trinidad. But the Education Minister assures the Education District Health Unit is helping principals to manage the cases. Rashad Khan of CNC3 has more in this report.
UWI Faculty of Sciences Dean and Pulmonologist Professor Terence Mungle tells CNC3 News there is no clear way to tell whether the students contracted the disease in the schools or outside over the Easter weekend. However, he says it's not surprising there are so many cases among the children given the spread of the Omicron variant in the population.
You would expect that when schools open up, and not just schools, but the population, and of course, as you said, the Easter weekend was a little while ago, that you will expect a rise in cases.
The Education Ministry has dismissed rumors that talks were underway to close schools in light of the cases. And even though cases are on the rise, Simangal believes the best course of action is to stay the course, as there is no need yet to talk about reintroducing restrictions.
You see, with the relaxation of restrictions, you will expect an increase in cases, but you have to balance that against severity of the cases. So far, it does not appear to be severe.
Rashad Khan, CNC3 News.
And that's your regional roundup. I am Joseph McKee-Smith for MTV News.
This is the MTV Evening News. More news after the break.
The third segment of MTV News was brought to you in association with Arizo Credit Union. Your financial freedom, your future.
I've been a member of the Arizo Credit Union since 2016, and honestly I joined to come out of poverty. What I love most about Arizo Credit Union is their support in helping us as members to save. I was in the credit union like a little under a month. The sewing machine that I had went bad and I was in desperate need of, purchasing another. I simply went to speak to my loan officer. I wanted to know details of how to go forward. How do I become qualified to get a loan? And the next thing I knew, she said, how much money do you need? And at that time I needed $7.99. And she said, I'll loan you the money. And from there I purchased the sewing machine, and this is the result. As a young person, we all have those little achievements in the back of our mind that seem so far-reaching. What Arizo encourages us to do is to save. I'm really happy, honestly.
You watching the MTV Evening News sporting highlights are up next.
Glam out in the best names and designer frames with Quartz Optical. Buy one stylish frame and get 50% off your second pair. Sport your favorite Armani, Converse, Vogue, and many more frames for less. Get an additional 10% off and pay nothing for 30 days when you pay with Ready Finance. Book your free eye examination appointment online today on www.quartzoptical.com. Don't miss the opportunity to glam out. Only at Quartz Optical. Value you can see. Offer available while stocks last. Special conditions apply.
Introducing the Grenlec mobile app. You can now get your bill balance and easily track energy usage for your home or business. Report and receive alerts about power outages. Plus, stay up to date by receiving the latest notifications. Yes, the Grenlec app keeps you connected anytime, anywhere.
Holy natural spring water is a water for every occasion. On the field of sports, at your workplace, just open the bottle and savor the pure, refreshing taste. Holy natural spring water is produced in Mama Can St. Andrews and is available in all sizes nationwide. To order, telephone 444-7654 or 533-7654. Holy natural spring water, Grenada's purest bottled water.
Grenada's under-17 women's team scored its first championship goal. That and more coming up in sports.
Make a greater contribution to your credit union by volunteering to serve on one of the following: Board of Directors, Supervisory and Compliance Committee, and Credit Committee. Members wishing to be considered must be active members of the credit union, be of good standing, and possess a reasonable understanding of the credit union's philosophy and operating principles. Application forms can be downloaded at gutcu.com/nomination or collected at any GUT-CCU branch. Send your application via email to nominations in care of GUT Cooperative Credit Union, Grenville and St. John Streets, St. George's. Or email your nominations to gutcu@spiceisle.com. The subject should be Nominations 2022. The deadline for applications is Friday, April 29th, 2022.
Donella Hostin has this evening's sporting highlights.
Good evening, sporting fans. Shaking off opening match jitters and a steep 20-0 defeat by the USA, Grenada's under-17 women's national team bounced back to score their first goal of the CONCACAF Under-17s Women Championship in the Dominican Republic. Playing against 5th ranked in CONCACAF, Costa Rica, Grenada got on board first with a beautiful strike in the 21st minute by Melania Fullerton, who is based in the USA. Melania first played for Grenada at the age of 10 in the same tournament that Grenada hosted in 2016. Throughout the match, she showed passion and determination as she tried to create more chances for her team. The team showed marked improvement in defense and offense, limiting Costa Rica throughout the match. Following the match, head coach of the under-17 women's team, Nigel Randy Boca, said it was a tough loss against the USA. However, we worked with the girls mentally to get their minds fully back into the competition. I am very proud of their performance against Costa Rica. They were passionate and showed vast improvements on all fronts. Grenada will be seeking its first win in the final group stage match against 9th-ranked Puerto Rico on Wednesday, April 27th at 4 p.m. at the Estadio Panamericano, Dominican Republic. Kieran Pollard's misery continued to mirror that of his Mumbai Indians, the former West Indies white ball captain failing again as the 5-time Indian Premier League champions plunged into a crisis-making 8th defeat on Sunday. Not even a modest target of 169 could alter Mumbai's wretched fortunes as they botched what should have been a straightforward run chase to come short by 36 runs, restricted to a hugely disappointing 132 for 8 of their 20 overs by Jason Holder's Lucknow Super Giants. Pollard, who had earlier claimed 2 for 8 from 2 overs over slow medium, could only manage 19 from 20 balls, and now averages 16 from 8 outings this season, with a best of 25. Captain Rohit Sharma top-scored with 39 from 41 balls at the top of the order, while Tilak Varma chipped in with 38 from 27 deliveries in the middle order. But no other batsman passed 20, as Mumbai lost 4 wickets and scored just 8 runs off the last 14 balls of the innings. Surrey has signed New Zealand's all-rounder Colin de Grandhomme as an overseas player for their next 3 county championship matches. The 35-year-old has 28 test caps and has made 86 white ball appearances for his country. He played in New Zealand's 2019 World Cup final defeat by England. De Grandhomme will be available for Surrey's matches against Gloucester, Northamptonshire and Kent. He said, I am looking forward to getting over to the UK, joining Surrey's lads, and getting stuck in for a few county championship games. Born in Zimbabwe, De Grandhomme has also represented Warwickshire and New Hampshire, as well as Southern Brave in last year's inaugural edition of the 100. Swimming's governing body, FINA, said it is looking into Russia's Evgeny Rylov taking part in his country's national championships despite being banned. Rylov was suspended for 9 months after attending a rally in support of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Russian President Vladimir Putin called Rylov's punishment for attending the rally absurd. FINA said it was aware the double Olympic champion competed in the Russian championships this weekend. It stated it had launched an international review to ascertain whether FINA sanctions or rules have been broken, and that the outcome of this review will be announced in due course. Rylov won gold in the 100-meter and 200-meter backstroke at the Tokyo Olympics last summer. And that's it for this evening's sports. I am Donella Hosten.
That's the sports, the weather, and a recap of the headlines after the break.
MTV Weather is brought to you in association with Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
We've been down, but not out. It's been hard, but we've persevered together. We each have a role in Grenada's successful recovery, nourishing our families, guiding our children, caring for our communities, energizing our lives. We are strong. Together, we are Grenada.
Good evening once again, viewers, with Tuesday night's weather forecast. I'm meteorologist Wayne Williams. Showers continue throughout Eastern Caribbean today as a trough brought lots of cloudy conditions and of course those showers. Some thunder showers were reported in Trinidad as that area continues to affect the region. Even though it is weakening, the cloudiness is dissipating a bit, we still expect to see some more showers tonight and into tomorrow. In the meantime, the slight haze still holding in the Atlantic. By the latter part of the week, we could be seeing it affecting us. Taking a closer look, we can see an area of cloudiness just over Trinidad, but it is dissipating as we speak. Upper level winds are causing the system to break up a bit as they move from the southwest to the northeast. That's keeping back any significant development that could occur. The forecast for Tuesday night is for scattered showers and easterly winds between 5 and 10 miles per hour. Some lighter to calm spells can be expected. The minimum temperature of around 23. The moon is going to rise at 3:41 in the morning. That's on Wednesday morning, and set 3:54 on Wednesday afternoon. On Wednesday, we still expect some showers, but fewer than we had today. We're going to see a bit more sunshine, but we still have that about a 70 to 80% chance of showers. Northeasterly winds would continue between 10 and 20 miles per hour, but mostly in the afternoon, they're going to pick up. Morning time, it would be a bit light. Moderate seas, 5 to 7 foot waves. Sunrise 5:49, sunset 6:20. Around 30, 31 will feel around like 33, 34 tomorrow. Showers are in the forecast again for both Port of Spain and Bridgetown. Partly cloudy in Kingston, mostly sunny in Miami, and again also in London, and some afternoon showers again in New York. We are going to see some more showers through to the weekend. Few scattered showers on Thursday, 1 or 2 isolated on Friday and Saturday. By Sunday, much more sunshine. The showers are going to become fewer and further apart as the week progresses. Look for some haze from around Friday. That's it for Tuesday night, folks. Have yourself a great night and join me again on Wednesday.
MTV Weather was brought to you in association with Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
Now to end the news, a recap of the headlines. The family of the deceased young man from Sunday night's boating accident with the Grenada Coast Guard speaks out. 2 Happy Hill St. George teenagers charged with robbery with violence remanded to Her Majesty's prison. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell to address the nation this evening before a live audience. And in sports, Grenada's under-17 women's team scored its first championship goal. Join Keishon Thomas on Wednesday morning from 7 as MTV kickstarts its series of programs leading up to the next general elections on a special edition of Rise and Shine. Panelists include William Joseph and Ray Roberts. It's a special edition of Rise and Shine Wednesday at 7 a.m. On behalf of the news and production departments, I am Troy Gill. Thank you for watching. Good night.
Can you for the national anthem?
Hail Grenada, land of us, we pledge ourselves to thee. Heads, hearts, and hands in unity to reach our destiny, ever conscious of God, being proud of a heritage. May we with faith and courage aspire, build, advance as one people, one family. God bless our nation.
Please be seated. And now, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell.
Sisters and brothers, ladies and gentlemen, Grenadian patriots all, tonight our nation sits at the crossroad, still challenged by the lingering after effects of a pandemic, facing uncertainty in the global space, overheated by man's damage to the environment, and chilled by the harsh reality of a war, far removed but with far-reaching impacts. In this perfect storm, sisters and brothers, that's brewing, our generation is being called to meet the moment. It calls for a fresh conversation, actually a different conversation that will inspire patriotic actions and set the tone for a worthy future of which we all can be proud. In the face of what seems to be insurmountable odds, where the pain of history intertwines with the demands of now and the hopes of tomorrow, we must get to this near perfect place by being reasonable, rational, and understanding the realities of a developing economy. Sisters and brothers, our history is filled with many examples of our people overcoming dire situations and then striving. When our forefathers were brought here against their will 5 centuries ago, we were not supposed to emerge with a viable, independent society. Yet, we have done so, and we are still standing. When bombs rained down on Bushaju in 1983, and bitterness flowed like the Paradise River, we healed the wounds of intervention to bounce back with our pride and our dignity intact. This period, and in particular, this pension issue, presents another defining moment in our history that we as a nation must face together. Sisters and brothers, we meet this moment by not being consumed with old suspicions, nor by distrust, by looking at personalities, but by a national discourse befitting of the creation of a society worthy of the inheritance of our children and grandchildren. This recent High Court decision, whatever we may think about it, of reinstating public sector pension scheme and rules, creates a very large financial pension obligation, which is additional to pension expenditures of the National Insurance Scheme. And remember, all of us must remember, government, like all other employers, is responsible for paying 6% already of employee earnings as part of their monthly contributions to the NIS. The 2022 fiscal impact is estimated of that decision at between 2.2 and 7.9% of GDP, largely dependent, sisters and brothers, of how current employees who already meet the reinstated scheme eligibility conditions, how they react to the court ruling. In recent past, your government attempted to address public employees' dissatisfaction through legal amendments and agreements with your trade union brothers and sisters. In response to the demands to reduce the large difference between the NIS and public sector pensions, government signed in 2018 a memorandum of understanding with the trade unions, granting a top-up to a limited group of people. Eligibility was conditioned on 26 years and 8 months of service or more, retiring at the age of 60. The top-up was equal to the difference between the NIS pension and 70% of the retiree's final salary. That was all we agreed. The government also introduced in 2003 a special pension act for people who were hired prior to 1985 and who, by virtue of their employment status, did not qualify for a public sector pension. Although this act was not considered by the High Court judge, it's important to note this, its constitutionality may now need to be considered. The recent court ruling declared the closure of public sector pension schemes unconstitutional, retroactively establishing pension entitlements for public employees who entered the service after 1985. That ruling, sisters and brothers, implies that pension benefits would become payable to public employers who were hired after 1985, and not solely NIS pension, not only solely on NIS pension benefits. The payment implications of that ruling comprise: 1, pension to people hired after 1985 and retired before the date of the ruling for the period between the date of retirement and the implementation of the ruling. 2, future pension to people hired after 1985 and retired before the date of the ruling for the period after implementation of the ruling until the beneficiary's death. Thirdly, current people who will now retire from the public service. And fourthly, pension for people who will be hired after the date of the ruling. While that ruling only focused on the constitutionality of certain features of that Pension Act governing public sector pensions, it is nevertheless creating a pension system which differs considerably from what was envisioned by both the 1983 reform and its revisions in the past 30 years. Sisters and brothers, the original pension reform concept of the early 1980s did not foresee public sector employees earning two pensions in parallel, one from the contributory NIS and another one from the non-contributory public schemes. The court ruling has created two-pillar pension system for public sector workers, which, without further changes, would create a large fiscal burden on the state, since in its current construct it is non-contributory. As part of the wider national dialogue, therefore, it is a matter that must be addressed through rational discourse and widespread consultation. We must know, we must sit down and consult and talk. While these fiscal obligations of the court ruling are still being tabulated, preliminary indication, and these are just preliminary numbers, are that we will have to find at least $465 million. Sisters and brothers, take that in. $465 million. That's not all. And then on average, we'd have to find $120 more million each year for at least the next 37 years. And that figure is without considering inflation. 37 years, Keith Mitchell will not be there. Just get it. It's not a Keith Mitchell issue here. All are we. The fiscal impact of the court ruling will be dominated by benefit obligation towards current employees who could have retired earlier under the reinstated pension scheme rules. The timing and the consequent cash flow impact, sisters and brothers, of these obligations can vary within a wide range, depending on the behavioral responses of the employees concerned. In the current version of the fiscal impact estimate, the number of retirees and their benefits were estimated using a simple statistical method for the period 2023 to 2030. This, sisters and brothers, has serious fiscal implications and is no walk in the park. But this administration, the government of the day that I had the privilege to lead, is determined and committed to finding a fair solution. In recent weeks, we have been holding many discussions with most stakeholders so far, seeking local and international technical advice as we consider what's best for this nation in approaching that serious challenge. There are some other constitutional concerns coming out of the judgment that must be addressed, or else, if we do not, there could be further conflicts down the road. But in the medium term, we will propose a mechanism for us collectively as a society to address those. We need all of us together with this. Therefore, in a difficult moment, a tough moment, one of the toughest that I have had in my own period of service to this country, in considering all the issues before us, this government, your government, has taken decision not to appeal the recent court decision. We heard me? We have taken a decision not to do so. Sisters and brothers, that doesn't mean that's the end of it. There's a lot more. We believe there are ways we can honor the intent of the judgment as it relates to the reinstatement of public pension, even while we seek to address going forward some of the inconsistencies and other aspects of the judgment that clearly we have seen. My friends, sisters, and brothers throughout the length and breadth of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique, government is committed to sitting down with all concerned who want to sit down. We can't force anybody. This consultative approach is consistent with our posture on matters of national interest. Years ago, when the court ruled in favor of Hamlin Armstrong in our pension fight, it seems like every time this government is meeting. This government, as a matter of policy and principle, refused to appeal the ruling. We could have done so, as is the case today. And we had strong legal advice, as is the case today, that there are good enough grounds for an appeal, but we chose not to. My friends, sisters, and brothers, let this be remembered as our first genuine signal that we have always intended to do the right for all workers throughout this blessed country. Refusing to appeal the judgment, however, might be considered by some as the easy part. Regarding the issue of payment of state pensions, unless we manage the process well and set out a viable roadmap under which the state could meet its obligations, it can completely derail the economy, sink thousands into dire poverty, and that must include all stakeholders being engaged. Because this is not about just the public workers. It's about all the citizens of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. The government obviously must lead on this matter. Have no choice. but it puts a reasonable final solution in doubt unless we purposely engage all stakeholders. And that we have begun to do. We have begun dialogue with our social partners. We've spoken to churches, some NGOs, the business community, social organizations, and trade unions. And the first meeting with the trade unions body as a whole, and just a limited group, was scheduled for last Friday. Unfortunately, for whatever reason unknown to me, there was a decision taken by the major unions not to attend the meeting and participate in the discussions that involve the peace and stability of our beautiful country. Fellow Grenadians, Caraconians, Petty Martinicans, I stand here tonight still hopeful that this broader dialogue will get started in the interest of public officers who have already retired and those whom retirement is likely soon. We understand that the leadership of some of the trade unions has some lingering concerns, and that's okay. I have concerns too. But we are determined to engage them in a meaningful way and to consider their input as we chart the way forward. Sisters and brothers, our society will be better off if dialogue continues. We remain hopeful that the Grenada Union of Teachers, the Public Workers Union, that's the leadership I'm talking about, and the Technical and Allied Workers Union will join this broadening and urgent national discussion on the single most defining issue of our time. Sisters and brothers, we must think beyond here and now and consider what our legacy will be as it relates to this issue. We therefore remain hopeful that all unions and stakeholders will join in this national conversation, because we know that despite all the disagreements through the years, the one thing that brings us together is our patriotism and our unquestioned love for this beautiful nation called Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. This nation, under the banner of its 7 stars, must provide us with a reason to set aside our differences for once. Set aside those in the interest of the wider national objectives. Tonight, therefore, we once again extend an open hand, understanding that this moment calls for all of us to beat our swords into plowshares and our spears into pruning hooks. This government has also moved to set up a broad-based advisory committee that will provide further technical advice and other general guidance on this complex but critically important issue. They will use their expertise and experiences in studying the entire issue and the decision that the government has made, with an objective to make specific recommendations to the government on how we move forward. In other words, it's not just pay, and pay me. That committee will be headed by economist and experienced global public servant Dr. Spencer Thomas. And it includes also economist Dr. Carrie Grenade and Dr. Patrick Antoine, and a former Chief Justice of the Caribbean Court of Justice, Sir Dennis Byron. There will also be a fifth representative coming from the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. The governor will inform us shortly. Dr. Thomas is a special envoy for the multilateral environmental agreements and the country's lead negotiator for climate change and biodiversity. He has over 25 years of experience in international environmental diplomacy. He was a lead negotiator for the Alliance of Small States during the period of Grenada's chairmanship of that body in 2007 to 2011. Dr. Carrie Grenade is an IMF long-term macroeconomic advisor. She also formerly worked with the Caribbean Development Bank. Dr. Patrick Antoine is a consultant, an economic policy advisor, and trade and finance negotiator who has worked extensively in the region and beyond. Sir Charles Michael Dennis Byron is a former president of the Caribbean Court of Justice, former president of the International Criminal Tribunal of Rwanda, and the former Chief Justice of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court. Born in St. Kitts, he has also served in Grenada as a High Court judge. This advisory committee, friends, held the first meeting this morning with the Minister of Finance. And they will get to work immediately to look at all aspects of the implication of this pension issue and to make specific recommendations for the government to consider. The government expects that it will have the actionable recommendations within 3 months. We understand what some people will describe as the fierce urgency of now. We know that. But sisters and brothers, this society that we are seeking to build, as imperfect as it is right now, must turn out to be fair and balanced. Emerging from this challenge is the need for all of us to urgently and completely relook the organization of the entire society and to ensure it's fairer for working people and it gives disadvantaged people a better shot. As challenging as all of this might sound, we believe that we now have a big opportunity here, emerging from all of this, to borrow a slogan from the past, not just to build another society, but to build a just society. Shortly, this government will unveil a plan for what we call expanding the empowerment agenda. And we must refocus our effort to decisively be able to also declare war on poverty. We are currently reviewing all aspects of that idea as the state considers how best to meet its obligation to the public sector workers, its obligations to all other sectors remain intact. Sisters and brothers, We cannot and we would not use the excuse of the pension challenge to abandon our people, especially those who need the government intervention the most. That would not only be immoral, but it would also be counterproductive and will create a further imbalance in our society. We must, sisters and brothers, we must maintain our youth empowerment programs. We abandon our young children, we abandon our future. We must continue to spend on giving our people more access to education. We must invest even more in healthcare and maintain a viable infrastructure that can adequately run a local economic life. We believe at the core, these are working people issues. All working people, that is. The payment of pension must be seen as only one aspect of the new economic construct that also emphasizes greater production and better efficiencies, especially in the public sector. We know we must improve the production at the public sector levels. In fact, to ignore those is to effectively undermine the cause of all workers. Prior to the issue of this now due pension, this government was actively considering a program we would have described as 100 million for 100,000, where over the next 5 years, we plan to spend over $100 million each year, making direct investments in working people in a daring and ambitious and open declaration of war on poverty. We are still determined to expand that empowerment agenda, but we may be forced to review some of its aspects given this new inescapable liability. But we are determined to find a way to keep some of it, because we think it is very important in building that just society I have just alluded to. Tonight, sisters and brothers, I know we could be sitting here, and while we're talking, there's a family in Belle Isle that we must get to. And there is a young girl in Grand Roy, as an example, filled with ambition and ability, who we shall invest in and affording her the best education she deserves and asking for. They, sisters and brothers, they are counting on us. There also could be a young man in River Sally, as an example, that has his long-held dream of opening his mechanic shop. The idea is viable, he has the talent, but he needs a hand up. And we should not let him down. A social security structure, sisters and brothers, shall be strengthened for this Birch Grove cocoa farmer, for example, who this morning marched up to the foothills of Granitang like he has done for the past decades. We can't forget him. We cannot forget our farmers, and we cannot use the excuse of pension for public workers to prevent him from having a viable life. The farming community, we owe them. The fishermen of Grove and other parts of the country, eager for better arrangements to help them guarantee markets for their catch. And when in Guave it looked like that things were breaking down, they took to the streets. We immediately acted on their behalf. They wanted a fair break too. All of us must have one. The country, therefore, sisters and brothers, must commit itself to fight for everyone, not just a single category of persons in our society. Otherwise, we should not be in government. In this competitive economic environment, where it's every man's right to fight for his own family, we must not do so at the expense of the other man's family. The whole Bible says, love our neighbor as ourselves. In all our considerations, therefore, we must also be determined to continue to live in a society where we are completely committed to looking after the less fortunate and those who are more vulnerable. And so, in our decision making and in our posture, all of us must always be mindful of the biblical precept which says, whatever you do to the least of these, my brothers and sisters, you do it for me. My friends, COVID-19 pandemic dealt a drastic blow to the economies all over the world. And Grenada, therefore, was no exception. Thankfully, government's prudent fiscal management in the preceding years allowed us to develop a buffer which we were able to tap into, along with access to highly concessional financing from international institutions. In the past few months, our economy has continued along the road to recovery. But we are still not seeing the pre-pandemic numbers yet. Government's response to the pandemic necessitated additional expenditure, and even now, expenditure continues to rise. Additionally, Grenada, like all other countries around the world, continue to experience inflationary pressure on imported goods and services because of dreaded war in Europe. In the 2022 budget, government started to address this challenge by introducing a number of cost of living measures. But we have continued to examine ways in which we can further alleviate the financial burden on the population, particularly as it relates to food items. Government will soon roll out additional measures, and tonight, therefore, I'm appealing to the business community to partner with us when we do, to ensure that the benefit reaches the people in keeping with our intentions. Sisters and brothers, government continues its efforts to mitigate the impact of rising food prices. And therefore we must embrace the opportunity to boost food production and become less dependent on imports, and to improve our country's food security. We must focus more on growing what we eat and eating what we grow. While sometimes circumstances may appear to bring us to our knees, we shall move forward on our feet. We have done so in the past. We are equally determined today to find fair solutions to complex problems, but we must do it together. We have an opportunity, therefore, to galvanize this nation, community by community, each working for the general good. With faith and courage, we shall aspire, we shall advance, and we shall build together. There must be a greater understanding among competing interests in the society, and an unshakable national unity that must bind us together so that we can better tackle today's challenges. The issue we face today is one of national importance long after Keith Mitchell leaves the shores, and one which has significant implication for all citizens and those coming. It is not just, brothers and sisters, a simple trade union matter. The money comes from the people of the country. It is a public service matter, and everyone will have to meet the challenges to meet that demand. Let's get it right. This pension issue will affect all of us, even those that are not working in the public service. They have to be involved. So don't say we should not be talking to them. We have to talk to everybody. This is their money, not mine, not Boeing own, not anyone in government. All are we own. Therefore, I assure you that government will not play games. This government, particularly in this time in my public service when I'm getting ready to quit the stage, will not play games with the future of this beautiful country of ours and the future of our children and grandchildren. That must not be my legacy, sisters and brothers, and I'm on the serious legacy path. I would only do what I believe is right. We must choose to work together to find solutions that go beyond any political party. People will come and promise all kinds of stuff. It's not about promises. It's about what is available. What can we do together? It's not about the political organizations or individuals. These solutions must be grounded in the interests of our beloved country and equally our beloved people. Together, therefore, we must be more determined to elevate a more caring society. People may disagree about many things, but the one thing we must all agree on is that the future is worth fighting for. We won't fear the future. We shall embrace the possibilities that it presents and walk hand in hand together towards it. Therefore, tonight, I say, with God's help, I ask Him to bless you, me, and all of us. And may God continue to bless this beautiful piece of this earth, this spice country that He has given us and blessed us with. We thank Him. Thank all of you for being here this evening. Thank you all. Good evening, everybody.
Stepping off the plane, it's so easy to breathe again. Life in the big city is finally took its toll. It's been so long, but I'm finally home. And what better place to rest my weary bones
but on this beautiful island
where there's so much to see. Every corner I turn, there's something there to remind me
of my beautiful nation and what it means to me.
Not a thing out of place, that's what's special about it. Do you hear? It's the songs the birds are singing. Do you hear? It's the song that's everlasting and this.
I'm a winner, you are winner, we are winners, winners, winners.
It's the big one. Grenada. Imagine winning $25,000 and up to 6 times by scratching just one later ticket. Get your triple cash scratch tickets for a chance to live your best life. Win easy with Scratch. For just $3, match any of your numbers to any of the winning numbers and win the prize shown for that number. Reveal a money back symbol and win the prize instantly. Triple cash scratch. In stores now. Must be 18 or older to play.
Cause I'm a winner. From the moment that I get up, I'm feeling right.
Good evening, viewers and listeners. Welcome to the National Lotteries Authority's Daily Pick 3 Evening Draw for today, Tuesday, April 26th, 2022. I am Anisha Charles. With me this evening is Ms. Jocelyn Clark from PKF Accountants and Business Advisors, whose purpose is to ensure that this show is conducted in an accountable manner, the game balls with industry standards and no waste tampered with. The sandwich for tickets at hand is Daily Pick 3. It pays to play. Good luck. First number this evening is check your tickets in the meantime. First number is 8. Second number is 9. Third and final number. Final number is 0. Let's recap those numbers. Numbers on the screen. First number is 8. The second, 9. Third and final is 0. So that's 8, 9, 0. Congratulations all winners. Stay tuned at the Daily Cash Flow Drop next. We'll see you soon.
Win more with the NLA's Daily Cash Fall every day with more plays and bigger prizes to be won. It's a 4-digit game with all the bet types you already know and much, much more. From 0000 to 9999. Choose your 4 numbers and place your bet from 11 different bet types. Choose from inline, 4 different mixes, first 3, last 3, and 4 different backup options too. Best of all, it starts at just $1, except for backups, which starts at $2. Win as much as $5,000 with a $1 inline bet and as much as $6,200 in a $2 backup bet. Imagine $50,000 for a winning $10 inline bet. There's definitely more to win with the Daily Cash 4. More plays, bigger prizes, twice per day, Mondays to Saturdays. Must be 18 and over to participate. NLA, making your dreams come true while supporting sports, culture, and nation building.
Welcome back everyone to another Daily Cash 4 Evening Draw. For today, Tuesday, April 26, 2022. I am Anisha Charles. With me again is Ms. Jocelyn Clark from PKF Accountants and Business Advisors, whose purpose is to ensure that this show is conducted in an accountable manner. The game balls with industry standards and in no way stamped with. At this time, you should tickets at hand. It's daily cash for more plays, bigger prizes. Let's find out what this evening's winning numbers will be. Good luck. First number this evening is, check your tickets in the meantime. First number is 7, second number is also 7, third number up, third number is 6, fourth and final number is 2. Let's look at those numbers. It's on the screen. Check your tickets. First number is 7, the second 7, third is 6, fourth and final is 2. So that's 7, 7, 6, and 2. Congratulations, all winners. Stay tuned, get your play with you up next. We'll see you soon.
Win more with the NLA's Daily Cash 4 every day with more plays and bigger prizes to be won. It's a 4-digit game with all the bet types you already know and much, much more. From 0000 to 9999. Choose your 4 numbers and place your bet from 11 different bet types. Choose from inline, 4 different mixes, first 3, last 3, and 4 different backup options too. Best of all, it starts at just $1, except for backups, which starts at $2. Win as much as $5,000 with a $1 inline bet and as much as $6,200 in a $2 backup bet. Imagine $50,000 for a winning $10 inline bet. There's definitely more to win with the Daily Cash 4. More plays, bigger prizes, twice per day, Mondays to Saturdays. Must be 18 and over to participate. NLA, making your dreams come true while supporting sports, culture, and nation building.
Welcome back, everyone, to another Playway Evening Draw for today, Tuesday, April 26, 2022. I am Nisha Charles. With me once again is Ms. Jocelyn Clark from PKF Accountants and Business Advisors, whose purpose is to ensure that this show is conducted in an accountable manner. The game balls with industry standards and in no way stamped with. Let's play Playway, value your dreams, win your way. Good luck. This evening's winning Playway number is, check your tickets. This evening's winning Playway number is 14. Let's recap the number 1414. 14 represents the dream symbol Old Woman. Congratulations, all the winners of this evening's Playway draw. We really play all the games of the National Lotteries Authority, support sports, culture, and the nation building. Thanks for joining us. Have a wonderful evening.
I'm a winner. You are winner. We are winners. Winners.
It's the big one. Grenada. Imagine winning $25,000 and up to 6 times by scratching just one later ticket. Get your triple cash scratch tickets for a chance to live your best life. Win easy with Scratch. For just $3, match any of your numbers to any of the winning numbers and win the prize shown for that number. Reveal a money back symbol and win the prize instantly. Triple cash scratch. In stores now. Must be 18 or older to play.
Cause I'm a winner. From the moment that I get up, I'm feeling right.
When a loved one passes on, we all need the comfort, support, and guidance of a trusted friend. You can rely on LaCour Brothers Funeral Home. We provide a personalized professional service that exceeds all expectations. Our dedicated staff responds to your every need with the greatest detail, ensuring affordability with a variety of options. Our upgraded state-of-the-art facilities, spacious air-conditioned chapel with live internet streaming, a modern, environmentally safe crematorium, the only of its kind on island, private viewing spaces, large on-site repast center, a modern transportation fleet. Join our burial society today and make personalized arrangements for that final moment as you prepare to enter your loved one into eternal rest. Visit or call LaCour Brothers Funeral Home and select a package that brings added comfort to the entire family. LaCour Brothers Funeral Home and Burial Society, continuing a tradition of excellence.
Joan Carmen Williams Lucas of Lothers Lane, St. George, passed away on Friday, 22nd April 2022, at the age of 72. She was the daughter of Ivy Williams, wife of Albert Lucas, also known as Stroll, stepmother of Karim Winsborough, brother and sisters including Jean Rubin, aunt of many including Abigail, Charmaine, Jason, and Samuel Williams, niece of Victor and Glassford. Other relatives including Lincoln Mark, Carol Williams, the Reverend Dennis, Mother Louisa, Jacqueline, Mother Sarah, Wesley, and Louise. Close friends including Dr. Francis Martin, Johnny Alexander, Marva, the Warwood, Mark, Woodruff, Williams, and Richards families, the staff of L.A. Purcell in St. George's and River Road, and friends and neighbours of Lothers Lane and surrounding areas. The funeral service for the late Joan Carmen Williams Lucas of Lothers Lane, St. George, will take place on Wednesday, 27th April at 12 noon. Funeral service will be held at the Mount Olivet Spiritual Baptist Church, Laborie, St. George, and interment will be at the Churchyard Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to LaCour Brothers Funeral Homes. Teresa Carmen Cummings, also known as Carmen, of Beaulieu, St. George, passed away on Saturday, 19th March 2022, at the age of 81. She was the mother of Diana Cummings, also known as Diane, and Lincoln Cummings, also known as Monkey in the USA, grandmother of Kimani Andrew Alexander, Kawana and Candace Bain, Nia, Kira, and Kalaya Cummins, great-grandmother of Kylie, Liam, and Jomani Alexander, sister of Cynthia Cummings Williams in England, mother-in-law of Clive Peters, aunt of Susanna Antwine, Eamon, Tony, Lucina Cummings, Agnes Hubert, Glory Cummings, Myrtle Griffith, Francis Lewis, Oris, Dick, Amy, Marky, Julian, Oliver and Remy Cummings, Sylvia Belmar, Cynthia and Delano Cummings and Cynthia Williams, Sylvia Cummings pair, Sharon, Kelvin and Wayne Williams and Colleen Cummings, her caregiver Diane McQueen, godmother of Pearl Greenwich Roberts, Perry Simmons, Christopher Butler and Joey Paul. Many other relatives and friends including Dr. Roger Addix, Alice Adolphus, Kathy Ann, Ricardo, Sandra and Marcel Belmar, Christiana Charles, Patricia Greenwich, Janet Julian, Raphael and Joycelyn LeBarry, Gail Bullen Phillip, Patricia Boca, Edith Paul, Sharon DeBerg, Rodlin Cador, Nola Charles, Louise Aline, Dr. Cecilia Rouget, Evadne Simmons, Sheila Buckmeyer, Veru Batiste, George and Jean Ross, Elsa Joseph, Vida Douglas, Carol Haling, Evadne Filbert, the Cummings family of Beaulieu, Lamode and River Road, and friends and neighbours of Beaulieu and surrounding areas. The funeral of the late Teresa Carmen Cummings, also known as Carmen, of Beaulieu, St. George, will take place on Wednesday, April 27th at 1 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the Beaulieu Catholic Church according to Anglican rites, and interment will be at the Beaulieu Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to LaCour Brothers Funeral Homes.
Cyprian John Hackett of Pedmata St. David passed away on Thursday, 14th April 2022 at the age of 92. He was the father of Denise Latouche, Joycelyn, Josh, Lorna, Sarita, Pamela, Laurel, William, Samuel Carlyle and Daniel Hackett, grandfather of 24, great-grandfather of 31, brother of Ignatius Hackett in Trinidad and Mintrude Fraser, father-in-law of Lillieth Hackett in the U.S. Many nieces, nephews, other relatives and friends in Grenada, Trinidad and Canada, including the Fraser, Telesford and Licorice families, retired staff of Grenlec, friends and neighbors of Pedmotar and surrounding areas. Funeral service for the late Cyprian John Hackett of Pedmotar St. David will be held on Wednesday 27th April at 1 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the St. Dominic's Catholic Church, St. David, and interment at the Windsor Forest Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacroix Brothers Funeral Home.
Francis Thomas George, also known as Robbie, of Riversally St. Patrick, who resided in the United Kingdom and at Pearl St. Andrew, passed away on Tuesday, 5th April 2022, at the age of 87. He was the husband of Veronica Agnes George in Grenada, father of Linda George Braffett, father-in-law of Troy Braffett, grandfather of Joshua and Faith Braffett in Atlanta, Georgia, brother of Teresa George in Grenada and Martha Scott in New York, brother-in-law of Eleanor in Canada and Phoebo in Grenada, uncle of Cuthbert, Tony, Frankly, Alistair, Ralph, Rudolph, Randolph, Anna, Kitty, Nadine, Joan, Beverly and Kimberly, grand uncle of many in Grenada, the USA and London. Other relatives and friends including friends and neighbors of Pearls, Riversally, Mount Craven, Surtees, in the USA, London and in Canada. The funeral of the late Francis Thomas George, also known as Robbie, of Riversally St. Patrick, who resided in the United Kingdom and at Pearl St. Andrew, will take place on Thursday, 28th April at 1:30 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the Holy Family Catholic Cemetery, Riversally St. Patrick, and interment will be at the Riversally Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacroix Brothers Funeral Homes. Agnes Loyola Barry of La Fortune St. Patrick, who resided in the USA, passed away on Saturday, 12th March 2022 in Canada, at the age of 77. She was the mother of Denise Cyrus and Richard Barry, sister of Eunice, Lucilda, Dominic, Marjorie, Cosmas, Teresa, Imelda and Cuthbert, grandmother of Shaunalee, Daniela, Martin and Ishmael, great-grandmother of Onika and Kingsley, niece of Constance and Preston, mother-in-law of Wayne Cyrus, Iowa and Donna Barry, sister-in-law of Steve and Yvette, many cousins, other relatives and close friends including Dr. Sandra Philip Mark, Robert, Ali, Marvlin, Wayne, Janice, Lisette and Anne-Marie, BB, JB, Cheryl, Carol, Debbie, Teresa, Eleanor, Linley, the Barry, Noel, Cyrus, Filbert, Alexander and Williams families, and friends and neighbors in the USA, Canada and at La Fortune St. Patrick. The funeral of the late Agnes Loyola Barry of La Fortune St. Patrick, who resided in the USA, will take place on Thursday, 28th April at 1 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the St. Patrick's Catholic Church, Surtees, and interment will be at the Marley Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacroix Brothers Funeral Homes. Joseph Peterson of Chantymel St. Patrick, who resided in the United Kingdom, passed away on Saturday, 26th February 2022, at the age of 85. He was the husband of Sheila Mary Peterson, father of Michael, grandfather of 5, great-grandfather of 11, brother of Etelston, Andrew, Bella, Elliot, and Carlisle Peterson, brother-in-law of Cecilia, Ethelyn and Claudette Peterson, uncle of many, other relatives and close friends including Newton, Simon, Lydia and Boris, and friends at Master's Shop Chantymel and surrounding areas. The funeral of the late Joseph Peterson of Chantymel St. Patrick, who resided in the United Kingdom, will take place on Friday, 29th April in the United Kingdom. Arrangements entrusted to Lacroix Brothers Funeral Homes. Roll Leroy Searles, also known as the Buck, of Montmoritz, who resided at Calabash Alley, Grand Mall, St. George, passed away on Friday, 22nd April 2022, at the age of 53. Left to mourn are his parents Leroy and Marjorie Searles, children Ronell and Rolly in the USA, Chaz, Ethan, Jewel, Gerald, Liam and Kalina in Grenada, one grandchild in the USA, close companion Marcia Thomas in the US, siblings Sonia in Canada, Wilton in Trinidad, Hannah, Korea and Dolores in the USA, Yvonne and Quabina in Grenada. Other relatives and friends including Janice Frederick and family, Fiona and family, Natalie and family, Nelline and family in the USA, Mashaline and family, the Searles, Seals and Griffith families of Montmoritz, Irva Telesford and family in the USA, the Gangadine and Bayer families, Aunt Molly in the United Kingdom, the fishermen, farming and mechanic communities in Grenada, Carriacou and Petite Martinique. The funeral of the late Roll Leroy Searles, also known as the Buck, of Montmoritz, who resided at Calabash Alley, Grand Mall, St. George, will take place on Friday, 29th April at 1 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the Montmoritz Holiness Church, Montmoritz, St. George, and interment will be at the Montmoritz Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Sherman Bain, also known as V's and Daw, of Mongelou, St. George, passed away on Monday, 18th April 2022, at the age of 65. He was the father of Ryan Charles, Jason Sween, and Shamanda Bain, adopted father of Kathy Pope, grandfather of Khaled Wilkinson Bain and Tahila Pope, brother of Wayne Bain and Jennifer Walters in the USA, Antoinette Trim in Trinidad and Tobago, and Irva Bain Purcell in Grenada, brother-in-law of Leonard Walters, George Purcell, Lisa Natalie Bain, and Samuel Trim. Close friend and caregiver, Deborah Sween, nephew of Lenora Worm, also known as Queen, and Preston Bain. Uncle of many, including Beverly Nelson, Andre, Jr., Maria and Rachel Bain, Stacy and Hugh Halens, Jaden, Amelia and Christelle. Many relatives and close friends including the Jacob family of Padmatar, the Worm family of Mongelou, Janice Francis and family of Woburn, the Bain and Spare families of Marion, the St. Bernard family, Pastor Stanford Salmon and members of the Grenada Baptist Church, Damian Burris and family, Glenn Lambert and family, Brother Daniel, the Lord family, Bobby, Aniel and friends at Mongelou, the Checkley family of Springs, the staff of L.L. Ramdani, and friends and neighbors of Mongelou and surrounding areas. The funeral of the late Sherman Bain, also known as V's and Daw, of Mongelou, St. George, will take place on Friday, 29th April at 1 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the Grenada Baptist Church, Belmont, St. George, and interment will be at the Mongelou Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Homes. Melissa Tanisha Hazard, also known as Mello, of Pomerose, St. David, passed away on Thursday, 14th April 2022, at the age of 34. She was the daughter of Beverly Rubin and Anselm Rubin, also known as Black Boy, sister of Salisha Hazard, goddaughter of Denise Williams, niece of Deanne Hazard and Sonia Mathlin Scott in the USA, Sandra Felix in Canada, Dolores, Henry, Harry, Gavin, Nelson, Eddie, Merilda, and Mary, aunt of Rick and Candisha, grandniece of Cyril Hazard, John Hazard, and Gerald Edwards. Many cousins including Javed, Janique, Janaya, Dwayne, Tammy, Hemon, Vanessa, Blondell, Kimonda, Decima, Suzanne, Lucy Noel, Sherman and Trevor. Other relatives and friends including Kendall Vespri, Fitzroy Charles and family, Gloria Batiste and family, the Hall family of Pomerose and Retreat, the Reuben and Paul families of Pomerose, members of the Corinth Seventh-day Adventist Church, and friends and neighbours of Pomerose and surrounding areas. The funeral of the late Melissa Tanisha Hazard, also known as Mello, of Pomerose St. David, will take place on Wednesday, May 4th at 1 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the Seventh-day Adventist Church, Corinth St. David, and interment will be at the Pomerose Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Homes. Maria George, also known as Queen, of Chantimel, who resided at Lamode St. Patrick, passed away on Tuesday, April 5th, 2022, at the age of 74. She was the mother of Kenny Alexander Frame, Stephen Alexander, Sanchia Alexander Charles, Andrea Alexander, Clive, and Dino George. Grandmother of many, including Curl Pope, Cazelle Charles, Denzel Alexander, Sherman and Kemaya Charles, Jamal Sherman, Tariq, and Jalea Knight. Great-grandmother of Summer and Kayani Pope and Javel Duncan. Sister of Voslin, Glenora, Gracelyn, Germaine, Armen, Kenesha, and Imelda, Kimon, Ashley, Rollins, Lyndon, Lloyd, and Mitchell. Mother-in-law of Kingsley Charles and Patricia O'Neill Alexander. Many nieces and nephews including Jacqueline Noel, Jackie Ann Slinger, Charmaine Frederick, Harriet Wint, Marcus and Richard Alexander, and Kelvin Bartender Frederick. Many other relatives and friends including the Thomas and Jeremiah families, Flora Noel and family, Grace George and family, Bernadette Joseph in Canada, Lorenzo Bill Phillip, Rosalind Frame and family, Teacher Linda and family, Hazel and Samuel and family, Joan Joseph of Grove, Floyd Whitehand Langine of Concord, Kendall Frederick, Mr. Arthur Lewis, and friends and neighbours of Chantimel, Prospect, Marley, and Lamode St. Patrick. The funeral of the late Maria George, also known as Queen, of Chantimel, who resided at Lamode St. Patrick, will take place on Thursday, May 5th at 1 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the St. Patrick's Catholic Church, Sautez, and interment will be at the Marley Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Homes. Yvette Walker, also known as Tanti Yvette, of Vendham St. George, passed away on Sunday, 17th April 2022, at the age of 62. She was the mother of Marlon Walker, mother-in-law of Gillian Nichols Walker, sister of Sandyford, Samuel, Cecil and Roll Walker, niece of Joan and Cecilia Thomas, and Cosmas Lambert in the United Kingdom, Cynthia Lambert, and Janet Sylvester in Grenada, aunt of Otha Collier, Neasha Keynes Douglas, Alex, Candice, Corel, Colette, Natalie, Chantel and Olivia Walker, Theophilus Richards, Roldan, Timothy, Nicholas and Omar Walker. Grand-aunt of many, including Krista Ferguson. Sister-in-law of Yvonne, Dawn, Tessa and Aloma Walker. Many cousins including Veronica McBurney and James and Wendy Thomas in the United Kingdom. Other relatives and friends in Grenada and abroad including the Lambert family of Vendham and St. Paul's, the Cambridge, Marichaud, Francis, Gittins, Charles, Frank and Mitchell families of Vendham, the Humphrey, Gittins and Edmund families of Birchgrove, the James family of Old Fort, the Walker families of Vendham, Boca and Grove, the Paris family of Boca, the O'Neill and Haynes families, the Adolphus family of Beaulieu, the Bowler and Antwine families of Happy Hill, the management and staff of Creative Design and Building Construction, Father Sean Duggett, and parishioners of the Beaulieu and Vendham Catholic churches, and friends and neighbours of Vendham and surrounding areas. The funeral of the late Yvette Walker, also known as Tanti Yvette of Vendham St. George, will take place on Thursday, May 5th at 12 noon. Funeral service will be held at the Our Lady Help of Christians Catholic Church, Beaulieu, and entombment will be at the Vendham Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Homes. Daphne Joseph, née Samuelson, also known as Darty, of Laton St. David, passed away on Wednesday, 16th March 2022, at the age of 87. She was the mother of Michael Francis of La Follette, Miriam Bob, Venny and Michelle Joseph in Grenada, Stephanie Joseph, and Deborah Blesdell Joseph in the USA. Stepmother of Brian Francis. Grandmother of Denny, Damien, Sean, Shane, Jamie, Akisha, Mtume, Renee, and Ashley in the USA, Kiwani, Janae, Chanel, Keon, Anika, Kazim, and Shakita in Grenada. Great-grandmother of many. Sister of Maria Paul, Cecilia Benjamin in the USA, Selvin Benjamin, Tobias, Carmen, and Norma Blair. Aunt of Sharon, Joan, Yvonne, Matthew and Randolph Mitchell, Alice Alexander, Nicholas and Elvis Franklin in the USA, Elsie in England, Kinta Benjamin in Canada, Anne-Marie Mitchell, Hermione, Kester and Alistair, Peter and Edmund Blair. Mother-in-law of Matthew Bob, Kenny Blesdell and Dennis Dragon. Her caregiver, Annette Fleming. Other relatives and friends including the Samuelson, Joseph, Mitchell, Benjamin and Edwards families in Grenada, Carriacou, and the USA, the Blair family including Alma Bain, Roosevelt MacDonald, and friends and neighbors of Latange, Pomrose, Malmount, and Crowshoe. The funeral of the late Daphne Joseph, née Samuelson, also known as Darty of Latange St. David, will take place on Thursday, May 5th at 1:30 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the St. Martin de Porres Catholic Church, Crowshoe St. Andrew, and interment will be at the Churchyard Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Homes. Joseph Primus, also known as Uncle Joe of Marley St. Patrick, died on Friday 22nd April 2022 at the age of 88. The funeral arrangements for the late Joseph Primus, also known as Uncle Joe of Marley St. Patrick, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Benedict Coppin, also known as Mr. Ben, of Mount Annan St. David, passed away on Friday 22nd April 2022 at the age of 78. The funeral arrangements for the late Benedict Coppin, also known as Mr. Ben, of Mount Annan St. David, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Homes. Veronica Ann Thomas of Marigot St. John passed away on Saturday 23rd April 2022 at the age of 69. The funeral arrangements for the late Veronica Ann Thomas of Marigot St. John will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Homes.
Wilma Cecilia Pear, also known as Cecilia Gibbs, of Cemetery Hill, St. George, who resided at Seaview, Carriacou, passed away on Thursday 21st April at the age of 59. Funeral arrangements for the late Wilma Cecilia Pear, also known as Cecilia Gibbs of Cemetery Hill, St. George, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements have been entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Teresa Stewart of Belle Plaine, St. David, died on Wednesday 20th April at the age of 91. Funeral arrangements for the late Teresa Stewart of Belle Plaine, St. David, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements have been entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Daniel Seeley, also known as Scorpion, of Belmont, St. George, who resided in the USA and Romania, died on the 13th of April 2022 at the age of 62. The funeral arrangements for the late Daniel Seeley will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements have been entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home.
Errol Richard Bruno of Grandon St. George, who resided at Petmotar St. David, passed away on Monday 18th April 2022 at the age of 71. The funeral arrangements for the late Errol Richard Bruno of Grandon St. George, who resided at Petmotar St. David, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Homes. Simon Thomas, also known as Kojo, of Frequente St. George, passed away on Thursday, 7th April 2022, at the age of 60. The funeral arrangements for the late Simon Thomas, also known as Kojo, of Frequenté St. George, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Homes. Veronica Annette Seals of Grand Mole St. George died on Friday, April 8, 2022, at the age of 64. The funeral arrangements for the late Veronica Annette Seals of Grand Mole St. George will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Teresa Bub née Francis, also known as Mama, of Snug Corner, Mount Kumar, St. George, who resided in Trinidad, passed away on Tuesday, 5th April 2022, at the age of 72. The funeral arrangements for the late Teresa Bub née Francis, also known as Mama, of Snug Corner, Mount Kumar, St. George, who resided in Trinidad, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Paula Matthew of Fontenoy, St. George, passed away on Wednesday, March 30th, 2022, at the age of 85. The funeral arrangements for the late Paula Matthew of Fontenoy, St. George, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Homes.
Raymond Toussaint, also known as Tuss, of Pearl St. Andrew, who resided in Westerhall, St. David, passed away on Monday, 28 March, at the age of 58. The funeral arrangements for the late Raymond Toussaint, also known as Tuss, of Pearl St. Andrew, who resided in Westerhall, St. David, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements have been entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home.
Daphne Joseph, also known as Dati of Latente St. David, passed away on Wednesday, 16th March 2022, at the age of 87. The funeral arrangements for the late Daphne Joseph, also known as Dati of Latente St. David, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Homes.
The management and staff of MTV extend deepest condolences to those of you whose loved ones have passed on. Thanks for watching.
I'm Pastor Jerry Keynes Douglas, and I'd like to take the opportunity today to express my deepest sympathy to all of you who have lost loved ones, friends,